Hello there survivors, these are 20 of the best base building locations on Extinction if you want to build your base in a cool spot. But of course, if you think I've missed some very nice spots, leave them down in the comments below. As a suggestion, I've tried to balance the amount of spots between the sanctuary, where obviously there is a lot of great locations that I definitely think you could build an amazing looking base in, and some in the other biomes, as well as even a few out there in the wasteland if you're brave enough. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I will be building in some of these base locations, so hopefully I can give you some cool base ideas. Let's get started. And location number one, I feel like, is a very iconic one for Extinction. This location here at some kind of like plaza or park here is just very nice. You have all these custom pathways here, amazing waterfalls. What I would do, or what I did actually for a base, is build like a giant base here on top of the waterfall, because that looks amazing. You have this amazing view over the park, and it's just a really cool spot. But yeah, if you should need it, there's also some spot behind here, like you have room here for maybe a dino pen that should be quite safe and easy to kind of gate off. And you could even expand up to these platforms if you want even more room, or you want to be a little bit higher up and you still have this amazing view over this area right here. So yeah, definitely a really cool spot to start building at. And if you're wondering for the location, it's located right here on the map. Then the second location is actually very close to the first one. It's this round stadium that is also in the park, which is also quite a cool location to turn into a base. A little bit more of a unique shape maybe, but still should give you plenty of space. You've got some roads leading out of here, and I think if you start going around with some walls and gates, you can definitely secure this area and yeah, make a really unique round base with, again, an amazing surrounding area with this like park landscape, the waterfalls, and all the nice views that you have around you. So yeah, definitely I think worth giving it a go. It's located right here on the map. And this spot over here is another beautiful base location. It's kind of like housed in these structures, so it would be quite easy to wall off and make safe. You've got this amazing fountain here in the middle with some waterfalls, so plenty of water accessible. And there's actually quite a few cool spots where you could build your base on top of there, maybe on top of here in the middle. Of course, just right here in front of the waterfall. And even here all the way at the front, there's some cool structures as well that you could try to turn in your base, your dino pen, whatever you need. Yeah. A really cool location all the way at the end of the city, the eastern end. So yeah, a little bit on the edge, so easy to reach the wastelands as well. And I think you could definitely do some cool things with this. It's located right here on the map. And yeah, as I said, I think there's some really beautiful spots here that you could turn into amazing bases. Right above the previous spot, you have these two great towers that look amazing, honestly. And if you're up for a little challenge, I think one of these platforms that are attached to these towers could make for a really unique and cool base location. Obviously, a little bit difficult to get to, so maybe you would wait until you have flyers or teleporters or whatever available. But there is a bunch of these platforms that you can choose from, and I mean, it will certainly make for a really unique and awesome looking base if you're brave enough to live on one of these, or maybe more of these, turn that into your own home. I think it would be a really cool and unique base. Definitely challenging, but I think it could be worth it. These towers are located here on the map, and yeah, as I said, there's many platforms, so you can pick whatever one you like the best. The next one is another challenging base location, but you could definitely make something very unique and cool at this location because you're quite high up in the city, so your view will be amazing. Again, difficult to get to, so you'll definitely need some flyers. Maybe teleporters could be nice to get to maybe a different outpost, but you won't have to worry about any neighbors up here. You've got two of these nice platforms to the side and then the pool in the middle, so definitely you can build a really cool and unique base right up here at the sky. And it's located right here on the map, and yeah, good luck if you're brave enough to build here. And this next location I think is really cool and unique. It's these ruins here in the snow biome, and this would be a really cool unique base location. Quite easy as well to turn it into a base, of course. All you need to do is get some gates going and some foundations to secure your base and then start building inside of it because, well, there is already kind of a structure present there, of course. And then you have some different options. You have this floor with a little balcony. You can, of course, try and make some staircases up so you can connect them to the other layers, which will give you more room as well. And yeah, even here on top you have more layers and more room to keep expanding to. So I think you can definitely get some really cool builds going. In fact, this is one that I will definitely be building at. So if you need any inspiration for this location, check out those videos as well. But yeah, really cool and unique new ruin location. And I think this one might be one of my favorites and is really tempting me to go and set up in the snow permanently. And if you're wondering, it's located right here in the map, so it's not even too far into the snow, so still easy to get into the wasteland as well. The second base location is another one of these amazing cool ruins here in the snow biome, but this one is even bigger than the first one. Although this will require a little bit more work to turn it into your base. You can still easily block off this bottom area to create quite a large room for maybe your dino pen so that they are nice and safe down here, but you will definitely need to create a staircase up here to actually reach these layers and start turning it into your base. But then you do already have a really good blueprint for a base, and all you really need to do is at first just to get the foundations down, you know, to get your build going, and then of course slowly but surely start turning it into a home. But you have again multiple layers and different rooms, even already really cool design layouts that you can follow, and you can turn this into quite the sizable base, so it will make for a really cool and unique base location if you don't mind living in the snow biome. And you will have an amazing view of the entire snow biome because you're right at the edge, so it's definitely one worth giving a go. And if you're brave enough, this is where it's located on the map. Really cool spot, and yeah, makes for a really cool unique ruin base location. And this one is another really cool unique base location in the sanctuary. You've got this little strip here down in these pools that I think you could turn into some really cool base locations, especially keeping the pools next to your base. You can have a little bit of a narrow but cool base design here on the strip in the middle, and of course you could maybe extend it here to the side if you need more room, or even in between those structures, and then have like a bridge connecting the two. And yeah, you have some really nice and unique settings here with the pools, the waterfalls, the greenery all the way around. Yeah, I think you could definitely build something very, very cool here, and you don't have to worry about any water being close. It's located right here in the city. And then there's actually quite a few really cool rooftop locations. Again, maybe not the easiest one to reach, but I think you could really make some nice, cool buildings on top of here. For example, this one, which has like nice little garden area, but then also some strips for you to easily build on, and you can even expand on top of those structures. Not sure if it's going to be possible to create some kind of bridge over, but yeah, you could really build something cool here on top of the rooftops. There's another one right next to it as well, and there's some other ones right here, either just for some resources or again to make some really cool and unique base locations. This rooftop might be a little bit easier because there is a road here. You could probably build quite an easy staircase or elevator going up to it. So that might be a little bit easier. And then this one actually is also really cool because it kind of has already some nice decorations. Of course, if you start building there, that's not gonna stay. But they make definitely good options. So yeah, these 4 here all together are definitely interesting locations to try and make a really cool rooftop base. They're located right around these coordinates on the map. And speaking of living high up in the city, but maybe a little bit easier to reach, I think this central platform is definitely a really cool base location. It's quite flat, so building will be relatively easy. And as you can see, you've got this lovely area that looks out over this central area in the city. You actually have some good road connections here to this side, also here on this side, going all the way over to the other big tower at the end of the city. And then again, more connections to the side. So you're definitely well connected, but a few well-placed gates can make sure that those connections are safe and you still have plenty of room and space to build at in one of the coolest buildings and coolest locations, I think, in the city. Yeah. I think this would make a really cool base location. And if you want to build here, these are the coordinates. So quite central, but yeah, a really cool place. The next spot is actually right next to the previous one. It is these really cool platforms. There's a waterfall, so you have some water available in this little garden section out here, which could be quite nice. As you can see, it's another platform that is relatively flat. You've got some access points as well that you could easily close off, but there's multiple options. So a few gates can secure this area, but you can still easily get around the city even if your land tames. And yeah, you have a bunch of these platforms that are pretty good for building. Then you have a little part more inside of this main structure to make a little bit more of an easy base maybe. You don't want to bother building too much, you just have to build up walls. And yeah, a really cool unique spot with some amazing views of the city, the wasteland in the distance, etc. So yeah, once again, it makes for a really cool spot, a little bit higher up, which I mean, I think would make for a really nice base. And if you want to build here, it's located right here on the map. And maybe you're longing back to the desert. There is actually some really cool locations here because this desert, even though it looks a little bit like scorched earth, it also looks quite different, more like an oasis. And one of these cool locations would be this pre-built structure. Once again, that means that you only really have to close it off, get some foundations going on the inside, and you have a really cool and unique base location to start using. And especially with the wasteland structures, taking over these old structures, kind of boarding them up and rebuilding them is a really cool vibe and style to go for. And I think this one could really make for a nice and unique base. It's located right near the entrance of the cave, which is down there. So yeah, if you want to spawn the desert titan a bunch of times, you live right nearby to do so. And yeah, I think you could probably turn this into a very unique and cool base. And it's located right here on the map. Now, I can't really visit this desert without pointing out the beauty of this little oasis in the middle. There's so many cool greenery here, plants here, the blue water. So definitely a really cool place to build. I would personally go for maybe this little spot here. If you clear out some trees, it's relatively flat, so would make for a pretty cool location. And then you're surrounding by these amazing views, or otherwise just above the waterfall, clearing out these trees right here would also make for some really cool views. You have waterfalls over there, all the greenery around you, and of course the waterfalls right next to you. You could even maybe bridge over them to make something really cool and unique. So yeah, definitely a really nice base location to build here. And it's located right over here in the middle of the desert. And of course, we have to dive down into the beautiful sunken forest, which really looks amazing here. So yeah, if you maybe want to redo Aberration, but personally I think this might look even nicer than the green zone on Aberration. There is some really cool spots. One of them being this little island in the middle of this lake, which means, yeah, you have a really cool, unique spot. yeah, you can kind of turn this lake into your personal base. This island is pretty sizable, so you can definitely build something really nice on there. And yeah, there's, I think, also some beaver dams in the water, so that is good for resources. But most importantly, like, oh my god, it's such a beautiful spot. Like, the views from here, you can see like the broken obelisk and everything, waterfalls, crystals. I think it is a really nice spot. And the good thing is there's some like natural light that coming down from these glowy bits up top that comes out right on the island. So it isn't too dark here, which I think is pretty nice if you're building in these sunken underground locations. And if you want to go for it, it's located right here on the map. Another pretty nice location here in the sunken forest is this one right here. It's kind of this land bridge above the water. So yeah, you have this pretty cool spot, which is relatively flat. So that makes it quite nice to be building on. One side you have this amazing view with crystals and the glowy blue spots as well. Again, lots of water and waterfalls around. The other side is also beautiful with more crystals. The obelisk that is right there, and of course, being a land bridge, you kind of just block off the ends to make it safe. But additionally, like whether you want to build there on the ground or not, there's also one of these redwood trees, so you could also go for a tree platform base here. So plenty of options. I think this makes for a great spot and will give you plenty of space to work with. It's located right here on the map. Then we're back in the sanctuary and we have another one of these high up balconies that would make for some epic bases. And as you can see, this one is no exception. You have this really cool platform with some water, so again, that's not going to be the problem. You have a decent amount of space as well to use for your base build, and of course the main issue will be how do you get here. But if you do get there, it's a really cool spot with, again, some really cool views of the cities around you, and yeah, also the greenery that is hanging from the platform just looks really, really cool. Now, there might be an option here. I don't know if the height might be a problem to maybe build like an elevator platform going all the way up. That is maybe a possibility, but otherwise, I mean, just having flyers or maybe teleportation could, of course, help you get up here. But at least you won't have to worry about your neighbors here, and you will have some really cool high up views. It's located right here on the map. Then, for the brave survivors among us, you can of course live out in the wastelands, and there's of course a few spots where it wouldn't be too hard or too difficult to live here, and this is one of those spots, and it is also a really cool pre-built structure that you could turn into your base. You have this big entrance where you could of course have some gates to wall this area off, which gives you access to this really big area inside, enough space for your dinos, plenty of options including these flatter locations for maybe some of your builds. Then this spot up here is pretty flat as well, so this would be a good build spot. You have this little balcony as well to land some flyers and of course make sure there's plenty of protection. And then you have this sewage pipe, which is actually really cool and unique. And I think this would be a really cool thing to turn into part of your base. And then closing off this one, maybe with some nice windows to enjoy the view out there. And then definitely closing off the back here because there's definitely danger around as well. So you want to make sure it's secure. But I think you could make a really cool base here. And since it's mostly inside, I think you might be good from the meteor storms as well. So yeah, you could definitely build a very unique and an awesome base in this structure. And if you're looking for the coordinates, it is located right here on the map, not too far from the sanctuary, so still easy to get around. Then the next location is another one out here in the wasteland, all the way here on the edge of the world, very close to the snow biome. There's a little bit of these city structures here, and yeah, one gate here closes off this area. You have these really cool tech city structures along the sides, and you basically have a giant street here of you to build at. The downside, I mean, in my opinion, are the blinking sounds that these make. That's something you have to get used to, but other than that, it seems to be a relatively safe area. I don't think the meteors hit this place, and there is a lot of room here to work with. So yeah, if you want to brave the wastelands, this could be a really cool and unique base location. Of course, making sure that the entrances are safe and protected. But yeah, then you should be good here. And you do have a decent amount of space, close to the snow, close to the city still. Like, it's not that far to get to the city. But yeah, you are on the edge of the map. But you should be relatively safe as the wastelands get, I think. So yeah, it is a really cool spot. If you want to build here, it's located right here on the map. Now, they're definitely not getting more secure, but they are still very, very cool. This is another one of these amazing pre-built structures that are present on Extinction. It gives me a little bit Star Wars vibe. These look like some kind of abandoned hangars maybe for the Rebel base. But yeah, you can definitely secure this area by placing some gates in here, of course. And make sure that you actually close off all the little entrances. But there is a decent amount of space in here to build. You have some layers here that you could work with as well. You know, make a little base around that area. And then potentially, of course, you could expand on top, although that might be more dangerous with the meteors. I think keeping it inside of the structure, probably the best way to go. And make sure that you have plenty of ways to protect yourself, turrets, whatever, to make sure that you're not attacked. Because as you can see, of the wasteland locations, this one definitely is the most hostile. So yeah, it is a cool location, but it might be a little bit dangerous. But if you want to try, it is located right around these coordinates on the map. And then the last spot here in the wasteland is this location. Now, you've got this really cool platform that would be amazing to build on, but it probably is not safe from the meteors. So I don't know if we want to go ahead and do that, but there's another one of these really cool pre-built structures that are underground in the sulfur area, and that should be safe. So if you gate and wall these off, you have a decent amount of space, relatively flat as well, and you do the same thing here on this side, and you should probably have enough space inside to just do your things. It would be really cool, of course, to build out on these platforms. Maybe it is possible. I don't know how safe it would be with the meteors being around. But yeah, potentially you could expand, but probably safest to just keep it inside. But it does make for a really cool spot. Maybe an outpost to quickly get out to this this area. But yeah, it is a really cool location. So yeah, if you're brave enough and you want to live in the wasteland, you know, proper wasteland vibes, then this could be an option. It is located right out here on the map. And there you go, 20 amazing build locations for you to build your base at. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you have any other good build locations, leave them down in the comments below. For now, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.